Good afternoon on what is a mild, bright and sunny day. It is Saturday the 20th of April and I'm in the reading nook with a nice hot cup of tea and a board game to unbox. This is T.I.M.E Stories published by Space Cowboys. I've been wanting to look at a copy of this for a while, but at that price I definitely decided that I was going to look at it. So, welcome agents, the Time agents, T-I-M-E agency needs you. The fabric of our universe and its parallel worlds are threatened by intrusions. The T-I-M-E agency sends agents to eliminate these changes. Before your mission, you choose an avatar to act in the past without causing temporal damage. Fulfill your mission as quickly as possible, but you know that you'll be able to start over as many times as you need. Live adventures through time and multiple realities. Pay attention to each scene to choose the course of action, and it plays in, it's 90 minutes per session, ages 12 plus, 2 to 4 players. There we go, that's what we've got on the back. Let's have a look inside. And this has several expansions. I was able to pick up those as well, or at least some of them, so I was quite pleased with what I was able to get hold of. Let's get the plastic off and the box open, and it's a really nice cover to this. It's really unfussy, unbusy, and it stands out simply because of just the huge block of white on there. You know, most board game boxes are kind of bright and busy. This one is just really plain and simple. And what we have inside is first the rule book. So let's have a look at that. And there's the back cover just to show that to you. And this came out in 2017. So it's been out for a while. It's just, it never kind of crossed my radar, as it were. So Temporal Agent, a high-risk career in extraordinary lives. So it has a nice bit of a pitch there to you as the player, you know, as a board game rather than sort of like a role-playing game would. And then, you know, we've got, there's the concept, discusses the concept behind the game. Essentially, the idea behind the game is to offer a shared central framework for an entire range of adventures. Once you've learned these general rules, you'll be ready to handle a new scenario and begin a new adventure without any issues. And it says, role-playing game or board game, neither one or the other, or rather both. Our first desire was to capture the feeling of the role-playing games of our youth, but in more compact and less time-consuming format, as the era of self-contained campaigns and bomb shelters is unfortunately over. Yes, so it's going through the different principles of the game. It's a cooperative game. One deck equals one mission. You have deck manipulation. It can be played by 2 players. And it's all about challenge and narration. And there are a couple of golden rules there. Bottom. There we go. Then we've got a guide to the contents. And that's it. It's set up for it. So it looks a bit of a complex setup, you know, placing of player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4, and all of the various components. Object of the game, components, you know, anatomy of the deck, which is what you'll be playing through. And then the players, essentially the role, there's a central role in the game called the Time Captain, but you're taking turns to do it. And then we have overviews of a run, how to play the game. Okay. So, and then dealing with tests and dice rolls, how they're handled, and then death of a receptacle, okay, and items. State tokens and mission success, mission failure. You come into the end of the game, and it says essentially, and now you're ready to start. Now you've reached the end of the rules and can start your first mission. When players are ready, pull out the NT 1921 Asylum deck and perform the following setup. So it's told you how to play. Now it's got specific guidelines there on how to set up your first playthrough. And then the idea you possibly can save it. So you've got a guide to doing that, and also the icons used in the game. That's quite a lot of icons. So you've got the iconography included, and then a refresher on the rules that you might forget. Biographies of the designers and artists. That's a nice inclusion. And underneath that, we've got some stickers and a couple of sheets of cardboard counters, and then below that, which is the board, so let's get that out. That comes out nice and easy. Unfurls. Just take a bit of care of this because as I said, I always manage to unfurl these things incorrectly. Does it go this way? Does it go that way? And I always get it wrong. So the board isn't that big. It's not actually really. So there we go. There we go. Just to give you an idea what the board is like. And that nicely sits in this recess, and this has got one of the few things we rarely see in a board game: a plastic insert with all the spaces for everything in the game. So notably, you've got sections here for the asylum and log. And that's in Asylum. That's the first deck, mission deck. And then you've got these various wooden pieces and markers, and so these are actually the player markers on there, the tracking the progress, and which you would use the stickers to put on the end there. You've got various wooden dice with various symbols in there. So that was not a good symbol, obviously. And these are wooden dice. These are not plastic dice. None of these pieces are plastic. They're all wooden, and they're bright white, which is quite a bit of a change from what you would expect. And I think one of the things that does, combined with this board, which is essentially white, and we go back to that cover, it comes on sort of like to, what is it sort of like presenting is the austerity of technology. This is the white, the white heat glare of technology that we are expected to we see elsewhere. You have, it's interesting to what we've got in here. We've also got there another section. I don't see what's going to find out underneath that. And then I pull that out. What I've got is those. Let's see if there's anything in them. No, it's just these pieces of cardboard, and you've got slots for cards in there, not to hold them during packaging, but during play. I'm guessing. So let's put those back. That's just empty space at the moment. So you've got sort of like more decks or missions to throw into the mix. But it's nice. It's a nice addition. That's sort of like they're blocked up. You just don't need them. And then you have this thick block of cards. So let's have a look at those. I'm going to get the knife again. I'm going to find out where I put it. There we go. comes away a lot easier than some of the cellophane I've had on board games of late. So quite a thick sheaf of cards. So adverts for expansions first and foremost. This is the first thing you'll see, and it's telling you that those are available. And then that just separates that card from that separates everything from the deck. And then you've like location cards, events that can happen there. So there's elements of sort of like horror and weirdness going on here as well. And even quite a bit of text on the cards. I'll just leaf through these. They're really attractive cards. With quite detailed instructions on them in places. So those are all sort of like general, those are the location cards. And then we have further locations. So we literally have sort of like a maze that you're creating, labyrinth. So all those different locations, and then actually expand a little. So you have these as well. They sort of kind of connect like that. So lots of different locations here. Then we have kind of like an icon reference, oddly placed in the middle. Different characters that you can take the role of. And sort of like there you have images of them on the back, and this is a kind of enforcing that this is a very French feeling or at least European game. We have cards for things like mission failed, and there's your director addressing you for your failure. You know, and you've got different conditions for why the mission failed. And again, you've got a plan, and essentially that's kind of like, you know, you're laying this out for these various locations. You can see the corner of the building more like that. And you've got items, 30 of them, like for example, this is an urgent message. This is some kind of clue. And you've got plans again of that building, the asylum. You've got like a proper finer kind of role-playing handout, key, so on, all the way through. Browning 1900 pistol, that looks to be accurate, so that's a nice touch. Another key, well, it's an asylum, so you're going to have lots of keys. A plunger, yeah, and then cars playing the bass. And there are the time travel kind of pods. like a mission card. So, that then it's all like a deck that you can't be playing your way down through it. This is going to be sort of like pre-set up for it. And that looks like quite an interesting game to play, you know, almost like you're playing a solo adventure together, but it's sort of like in a cooperative fashion. At the same time, though, you know, the one thing I will say is, there's only one mission in here. That's the main problem with the game. There's only one mission. And once you've played through it, you're kind of going, well, what do I do next? But I've got to go and buy another one, which does limit the sort of like the immediate usefulness of the core box. It's going to teach you the game, yes, but once you've played it, what do you do next? Because it's not particularly replayable, unless you fail, you've completed it, you know, or you're going to run it with someone else. So yeah, maybe. I think, you know, that's probably its one potential issue. Nevertheless, that's Time Story. I think that looks absolutely great. I look forward to giving that proper review, even a chance to play it. But in the meantime, thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. If you enjoyed this, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those down below. And finally, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box or game or role-playing game from which I would typically unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so. But in this case, an actual board game. All, of course, accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.